Good evening, folks. Greg, Countryman Story Podcast. Or should I say howdy tonight? I need one of these. This is my own. Unfortunately, our guest tonight, he doesn't own one. He can't call himself a Texan, can he? Say hello, Jeff.
Hey guys, what's going on? I get a pass.
Oh, you get a pass. Yeah, right. Now,
Born and raised.
born and raised, yes. Right. Now, tonight's thing, I normally pull out something, and this is tonight's thing. A complete jumble of my tools and my wind checker and a whole heap of stuff here. Now, I'm sure this gentleman I'm chatting to might be a bit more organised than me. Is that not correct, Jeff?
Oh, yeah. We've got as we say, we've got a place for everything and everything in its place.
What do you use, sir?
Well, it's the Surge Predator Pack. I'll put it on here for demo purposes, but basically it's a bino harness for basically binoculars, which you don't use at night hunting. So it's designed for predator hunters by a predator hunter, and you've got storage out the wazoo. You can nice place for your calls. You can pull them out, get that back. You can stop down without turning on a light, without pulling your a typical backpack. You got to pull it off, but you got everything stored to easy access. I got my little wind checker and sync, coverage here. You can easy access, stores away. You can get down on your rifle real easy. It's deep enough for your thermal binoculars. I'm a light guy, so I keep my extra light in here. But it's just real easy. Keep everything in its place, everything out its way. A lot less noise, real quiet. It's got for us Texans, it's got a pistol holster in the back to keep a pistol on your chest, so you got to have that ready. And I keep my scales in here on the side in case I get a larger animal. Got a water bottle storage here. I keep my game call remote in this. Man, it's just handy. It keeps everything accessible and secure. It's got dividers inside it if you have thermals to keep it protected from other items. It's got magnet locks or clasps, whichever you want to use. It makes everything easier, When I first started, like we was talking about, when I first started, I had the, dangling lanyard around your neck and, sound like cowbells going through the pasture, everything dangling and stuff. And so you'd have to hold it, to your chest and keep everything. You had to worry about them or getting them hung on stuff, bouncing off your tripod or something like that. And so I went to a backpack and I'd keep everything in the backpack. Well, if I needed something for the wind or a mag or anything, I had to take the backpack off. I had to stop. And man, I come across these, and the Reese Outdoors is the one who come up with these. And I was doing a lot of call development when he got into diaphragm calls. I was helping him develop a lot of those calls and stuff. So we got in tight, and then he brought me on board with that, and I started running the social media and stuff and got involved. And that's taken up most of my time here, but it's handy. It makes things easier.
Oh, I do. I think I'm going to have to have a word with Reese Outdoors because I still use his calls. Here's one.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
And I still can't play him after all this time.
That'll get them every time.
Yeah, I've got loads of different ones in here. But as you can see, it's just a jumble, folks. So getting yourself one of these Purge Predator packs, I do know a couple of UK companies do import them. And I believe Reese exports as well, because he exported my calls.
I do believe so, yeah.
So now we've got all the jumble out of the way. Please introduce yourself fully to our watchers, readers, listeners. I still can't know what we've got. For the good folks at home.
Well, hopefully they can all catch up with my dialect, as I have problem understanding y'all. Hopefully it's not too hard to understand me, but my name's Jeff Johnson, man. I'm born and raised in Texas, always part of the outdoors, and been married for 34 years now, 35 years this year, 2 kids. Man, I've always had a passion for the outdoors. My uncle and father both got me into hunting and fishing and trapping when I was a kid. And then I kind of veered away from it a little bit when I found girls and all the other party favors and stuff for a while. But I found my way back, and really got hooked on predator hunting, man. I enjoyed it. I got into it. There was a coworker who had some cattle and was having a problem with coyotes. And I'd watched a couple of videos on YouTube and was like, oh, I can do that. And after several failed attempts, I started studying it and got further into it and really educated myself, man. And it became an addiction. I'm not telling anybody that anything new there. I mean, anybody who's played around with predators can understand that. But it took over, man, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I got a great deal of a respect for the animal. I think the coyote is the smartest animal in God's creation. And I got a great deal of respect. And so when I'm able to fool that animal and make him think he's coming to a free meal, man, it's very rewarding to me. I enjoy it. I have nothing against deer hunting, stalking, and we do more ambush hunting here in the United States. You go up, set in a deer stand, and you feed the deer for all its life, and then until it gets big enough to take. I don't have any problem with that. I eat plenty of deer every year. I don't hunt myself, but plenty of family members who do. But I just never got a thrill out of it. I didn't enjoy that as much. It wasn't, I guess, the challenge that I enjoyed. And not that it's not challenging once you get addicted to that, but predators were my passion, and that's kind of met. In fact, that's how we met long ago. Just in the predator hunting groups on Facebook. Prior to Facebook, I bet I was in 6 or 7, the old forums before social media, and was admin on different one of those. A big one that I loved, really enjoyed was Bucking the Odds. A couple of guys that really they showed, a lot of your typical TV hunting shows would, they would show, call, kill, call, kill, call, kill. And it's like, oh, well, those guys never fail, Bucking the Odds, they had a YouTube channel for a while, and they'd show the mishaps, they'd show the dry stands, and kind of really enlightened everybody that everybody does make a mistake. So I kind of got tight with those guys and become a administrator on the board and help police all the members and stuff. So and just started a really just a network of companions from Germany, UK, Arizona, Australia. I got a good friend that comes over from Australia and predator hunts with me. A couple of guys from Germany that comes over and predator hunts with me and stuff. And so the passion it just turned into a big network of brotherhood. And man, I can't enjoy it anymore, man. It's a blast.
For those that used to read Countryman's Diary, you might recognize Jeff. He was Stateside shooter on there.
Yeah.
With articles like For a Cyclone and 3 others.
Yes. Yeah, a little dialect there that I and I guess it wasn't a name I'd come up with, but it just different groups, I guess, just different terms come up. But what is a first cyclone? But yeah, I enjoyed that, man. I'm not good at it, but I really enjoyed writing and sharing. Back to the forum days, you'd more, it was a different format. Everything's so short and so compact on social media. The old forums, you could tell about how, explain the stand and where you set up and what happened, and I'd read some articles back in the day when I still read magazines and stuff, and I enjoyed feeling like I was there with the person writing the article. So I tried to do that when I would write forum posts and stuff, and most of the time that's what I tried to do on what was Countryman's Diary. Yeah, I almost forgot the name of it. It's been a minute.
It has actually. Now, I have a question, and I bet some of our watchers will as well. Why is the coyote the only one that does this spinning thing when you shoot it? What is that about? Everything else just flops over, even something as big as a wolf. But coyotes go on this mad thing.
Well, I think. Well, first off, there's a problem that they want to take care of, and the only way they can take care of it is to bite at it. So they're chasing the pain is what they're doing, and they're this isn't working. And I don't believe in, before we get into all the whiny shoulders and stuff, I don't believe they process pain like us. I've seen coyotes go through all kinds of stuff. I'm sure it's an inconvenience, but it's more of something not working anymore. They feel as if something has got them, and they're going towards it to try to get it. And like a dog chasing its tail, it can't get it. So that's where they start turning and spinning, and they're trying to fix it. I've had, without getting too graphic, I've had coyotes when I had a quartering shot and went in this way and it come out the other side, and it removed quite a bit of their insides. and they start just pulling everything out. That's a problem now. So they're trying to fix the problem, and that's coming. That's the problem. So they're trying to get at that. And a lot of times they'll die with their leg in their mouth or tail in their mouth or something. They're just biting. That's the only thing they have to do. But I would think, and then more to why they're the only ones. This is just analogy, but most of the time the smaller fox, the smaller bobcat, they're going down in one shot. A lot of times a coyote, man, they have their will to live is just unbelievable. So a lot of times they will maybe survive a little bit longer, where the explosion or the expanse, the temporary wound cavity, almost rips a fox in half. The coyote can withstand it. I assume. I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting. There's times I've had a wonderful shot where I would have thought went right through the heart, and coyote goes for miles, have to chase them down. It can be interesting at times.
Yes. So they're just built different, aren't they? They're just tough old things.
Yeah, I've seen different pictures of for however reason entire bottom jaw of a coyote missing. So I wouldn't imagine they could remove meat from the bone of carrion of a dead animal. I have no idea how they're surviving even, and they come to a call. They're coming to a predator hunter's call, and they're shot and killed. There was another one down just south of me. A guy killed one. This was a few years back in the forum days. But there was a barbecue place nearby that would put their scraps out, and had thrown out a gallon pickle jar, a glass jar. That's how long ago it was. They're all plastic now. And the coyote had got its head inside there and got it stuck. Trying to get it off, it had broke the jar. So it was just the neck of the jar that was around its neck. And it was just a festering wound all the way around its neck, just the jagged edges of glass. And the coyote was healthy. I mean, it didn't look like it was starving. It was eating and come to a call and was killed coming to a prey sound. So I killed one over in Arkansas as a large male, and the landowner had 5 or 6 cattle dogs. And, everywhere, I assume any livestock dogs can get very pricey. They, from training and their bloodline and everything. And these coyotes were coming up on this guy's porch and beating up on the cattle dogs. And this one big male, I ended up killing it, and he had a broken leg and his paw was turned to the side. He had rubbed all the hide off his bone that was on the bottom here, still walking on it, still doing fine. Scars all over his face, half a little bit of his ear missing. And these things, they have a will to survive, man. It's nature. It's an amazing thing at times.
Yeah. Now, touching on the subject of dogs, I know a lot of readers probably won't know this, or listeners, viewers. I'm still confused. How is it coyotes get house dogs or farm dogs to rebate and come out with the pack and then lead them away to kill them? Yet dogs won't like wolves, they don't like foxes, they don't like bobcats or anything else, but they go and play with coyotes till they're dead. Where does that come from?
It's
Has anyone figured it out?
I think it's more of and this is all speculation, I'm going to base this off of, have you watched any of the decoy dogging with
Yeah.
coyotes? It's mainly here in the States and stuff, but I think they're so much closer in species, in the genus family, that they're able to, you have the legend, or I don't know if there's any proof to it, but the coy dog, a domestic dog and coyote that's mixed and stuff. So I think it's a bit of that maybe gets them to interact some, but they're so close. The territorial issue really comes into play. So they'll come in and tease and draw them out and just, whether it's to just to eliminate them, or, I suppose sometimes breed with them. We get a lot of darker phase coyotes that most people say are coy dogs, or coy mixed with domestic dogs and stuff. But it's beyond my knowledge, but that's what I would assume, is just that they're close enough in genus species that there's a potential for breeding, and still close enough that they can interact and understand each other. But that decoy dogging is something really neat. That's an amazing feat. And they play on that, the coyote's ability to do that, and the dogs are trained to do the exact same thing and bring them back to the hunter. It's fairly interesting to
Yeah, I
watch.
watched Al Morrison crew. It's very
Yeah,
interesting
yeah,
because you've got these dogs that look like they've just come out of like the ring with Mike Tyson. You know, they've got collars on and scars and half an
yeah,
ear, and they look like some
yeah.
of them look drunk as a skunk. And yeah, oh, there's a coyote there. Woof, 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 off it goes, dances around it. And then I was like, that's enough. And next thing, his dog's in front of him, and the coyote's like, oh, I've come
Yeah,
too close.
right
Oops.
there, right there, and just I mean, right at the camera, it's just looking there. That would be Tony Tebby had he had an old dog Gunner that was just I still go back and watch some of those videos. He'd get in tight with those dogs and just it was amazing the time and money spent in those dogs. I enjoy watching any working dog, whether it's coon hounds or foxhounds or hog dogs, anything, sheep dog, anything, livestock dogs. A well trained dog is fun to watch. But yeah, when those coyotes get that territorial deal, and it's during denning season when they do that. You can run coyote dogs all the time, decoy dogs all the time, but when they have pups on the ground and they're getting close to getting out of the den and getting close to moving around, that's when they really turn on their territorial attitude, and they'll run a dog out. But now if you get just a typical ranch or a small area, I got a call the other day. Couple had some chickens, and they were just disappearing, and they thought it was for sure coyotes coming in. And it's probably about 2 months ago now. Went over there, and I stumbled upon a red fox out there, right when I walked up, which that's kind of what I thought it was. Coyotes will come around, and they'll if they can find a meal, they will get it. But a lot of those the fowls are usually a fox or a bobcat or raccoon, even over here. But if there's a meal, they'll find a way to get it. And that's
Yeah.
if a lot of times they'll have the livestock animals, Great Pyrenees or something like that, supposed to guard the flock, and they'll lure them out too. Any big dog, if they can get the numbers on them, in which most of the time around here you'd do good to have 5 or 6 in a family unit of coyotes, but 5 or 6 coyotes can put a hurt on any regular domestic dog.
You probably heard the herd dog that took on about 12 coyotes last year, killed 8 and come back about 3 weeks later.
I think so. Yeah, is Great Pyrenees, I believe. I
Yeah,
think I've
something
seen
like that. Or
somebody
kangaroo
shared
or
it.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Just crazy,
That's
isn't it?
they're it's an interesting breed that wants to go out there and don't think twice about it. They'll fight the coyotes. It's interesting. I love both the just a regular working dog like that, but man, those decoy dogs. I got a guy here up in Arkansas that does it well. Went out with him a couple of times, and it's a thing to witness. That's for sure.
Now, I know the old joke about Wile E. Coyote and Acme and Roadrunner and everything else, but one thing I've noticed watching hundreds of hours of YouTube video and all the hunting channels and stuff, different areas, the coyotes produce different color coats. If you've got like sage,
Oh yeah,
scrub, and desert, they're like a browny, grey, flecky color. The ones that come from like Arizona have got like an orangey tint to their fur. Now, is that
yeah.
just like a trait that they like? This is where we live, so our fur just changes color, or
Majority of it, yes, yes. And now we'll have variants everywhere. A lot of ours. I've had some very orange looking coyotes, some that look very, very orange. But typically, yeah, that's more of a. I assume just as far as the evolution process, these coyotes that blend better are going to get more food. A bright white coyote isn't going to hide in the orange desert sand as well as an orange one, so they get more food, they reproduce more. So over time, that's what typically evolves in this area. But we'll get a more of a tawny kind of deer kind of color here, and then you go up to Saskatchewan or even up into the northern states, you'll get a lot more blonde coyote that where they have 8 months of snow on the ground. You'll get more of a blonde color, a lighter color, or even almost a white coat, and it's just beautiful. And a lot more thicker fur too, and that's why you can still in Saskatchewan. I've seen people get $300 for a single coat for still
yeah.
in today's time, where we probably couldn't sell ours if you got $2 for it. So it's really, unless you have one that you want to tan for a keepsake trophy, there's nothing in it there. But yeah, I think it's more of a regional deal what they blend, but you'll get a variant in all locations. You know, it's a kind of a blend camouflage for the region to a degree, and that's my expert opinion.
Meet the expert.
Yeah, they were in the sun longer.
Yeah. But we get it with red foxes. Countryside red foxes. They're big, they're bold, they're fluffy. They got lovely great tails on them. We call it the brush. Yeah, town foxes, they always look mangy. They look a bit like what most of you like inner city coyotes look like. Starved. They
Right.
look wet all the time, if you know what I mean. The fur looks wet and horrible. And it's just the way they are, you know. In the countryside, I suppose they've got time to groom. They don't need to be hunking around the streets where it's dirty and you've got road rime and stuff. Um,
Right.
but you go to Scotland, we were discussing Scotland a minute ago. Up there, a good male red fox up there is nearly twice the size of one of ours from down this way. They're a huge
I've
big
seen that. I
fox.
was going to bring that up. Yeah, it's. I was going to ask if your fox is a lot larger than ours, but speaking of Scotland, I knew a fellow over there that I mean it was twice the size of the things I've seen, and a little bit
Yeah.
darker too. We'll have a bright orangey red kind of color here, and I've seen most of what I've seen from the UK as well. And that particular specimen, the big one, it was more of a darker orange, almost a light brown, more of what you was talking about on the kind of
Yeah.
a orangey color brown. But yeah, they have some massive fox over there. It's amazing. But now, what would I have no idea what over there. What would an average fox or big fox weigh? And you're going to throw out kilograms, so I don't know.
No, no, I'm old school English. I work in
Okay,
pounds and
okay.
ounces. I work in inches. I suppose the average good dog fox, you're looking, I suppose, between 25 and 35 pounds for a good, healthy one.
Wow, wow. See, I don't think we get anything close to that. I'm thinking if we got one up close to,
I'll just have a quick Google here and tell you what Wikipedia says for a red fox. Wait, hold on.
yeah, I would be surprised if we got up over 20. And now y'all don't have gray, do you? Just red
No, we
fox.
only got the red
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. And the gray is even smaller, but yeah, red probably push 20 maybe.
Right, I'm just Googling it. It's saying between 7 and 15 pounds, but I know
Right.
for a fact some of our big foxes around here, you can get a good dog fox that's about 20 odd pounds. You know, he's quite a weight.
Yeah,
But the ones up
yeah.
in Scotland, the Highland ones, are even heavier, and they're like a completely different species.
Yeah, and that brings up another point too. I believe back to coyotes. There's some studies biologists say where there's 26 species of coyotes, and I don't they can break it down way further than that. But I would imagine back to fox there. I would imagine these are different subspecies as well. So maybe even from Scotland to UK as well.
I can't remember what he's called. Chap from Pennsylvania does a lot of red fox hunting. Tall, dark hair. He's on the Fox Pro team. I can't remember.
Well, you have
He's got a proper Pennsylvanian Dutch accent.
golly, yeah, I think
Yeah, he's one of the Fox Pro guys. I'll remember now.
right. Yeah, yeah. I
But
cannot think of his name, but
looking at those foxes they hunt over there, I think it's because you guys have a lot of like maize stubbles and stuff. They've all got really long legs and quite a short little body. They look like a dachshund on stilts, if you know what I mean, like a
right,
sausage
right,
dog.
right.
As
Hmm.
our foxes are quite proportionate with quite a deep chest cavity and then legs underneath as well. You see?
Just the evolution, man. They just
Yeah.
evolved to what works better for them. Yeah, and that's now Pennsylvania. That's been up there on a hunt before, and that wow, they're getting coyotes now, but before coyotes started moving in, and which still they have a unbelievable fox population. That's where Fox Pro began up there. So, and that man, that's I think we were up there for a 3 day hunt, and we called in. I believe it was 83 fox, and wind was terrible. We didn't get that many shot, but it was just they were everywhere. It was infested.
Oh, where is he? He's part of the fur takers guys. What the hell's his name?
It's a aber, aber.
Yeah, that's him. Abner, is it? Abner.
Abner.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Keep going.
I can't think of his name. It's been a long time since I've watched an episode of that. You got Big Al Morris, and then oh, geez, quick with those thumbs, Greg.
Abner Druckenmiller. That's what he's called.
Druckenmiller, yes, there you go. Yeah, they do. He's
But-
getting his boys out hunting with him too now, I think. Or
Oh, blimey.
yeah, that's
The
interesting.
problem
Yeah,
over here in the UK is to watch Fox Pro, I can either wait till the bit's uploaded on YouTube and it's like 25 minutes tops, but
right.
occasionally you get the odd episode bumped up on one of the channels and it's like an hour episode or whatever. But most of it you have to pay for through an app system, like the Realtree TV and stuff. Over here, we have to pay for it, but a lot of it's not aired because it's all copyright this and copyright that, and it's a nightmare. So all the stuff I'd like to sit and watch has all been bloody gone with copyright now, and I've got paid 3 times the amount for it. Stupid.
Yeah, that gets annoying. Now, do y'all have many predator hunting shows in the UK?
We've got Field Sports TV, which covers everything. It's like a news segment and different articles. And then there's about 10 good deer stalking channels. And of course, we've got different seasons for all our deer, and then male and female open seasons as well, and closed seasons. So you've always got something available.
Now, y'all's deer, is that roe deer?
I'll start with the biggest. We got red deer.
Red deer, okay. Yeah.
Then we got sika deer. Then we got fallow deer. Then we got roe deer, Chinese water deer, and muntjac deer. We got 6
Oh,
altogether.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And they've all got different seasons and stuff. Most of them,
right.
fallow, red, and sika, the bucks start during the rut, October time,
Right.
and then go on through to like the other side of February, and then the does are winter time and all this. It's all sorts. It's probably wrong off the top of my head, but there we go. But we have quite a few deer channels. There's a few channels, like I said, Robin Fox earlier that we've interviewed does fox control, but a lot of his viewing is on rat control at farms.
Interesting.
He's sponsored by Hick Micro.
Micro?
Hick, HIK Thermal.
Okay, yes, okay.
So he's got like their new big night vision scope and their binoculars that does thermal and normal and everything else will come by. So he does quite a lot of videos like rat shooting on farms and stuff.
So is he using a centerfire rifle or rimfire or air gun?
Air gun and rimfire rifle for the rats.
Oh, that'd be a blast.
And then for foxing, he uses 223, 243, and I think 6.5 or 308 for the longer ones if he needs it.
Right.
But we've got no other predators. We have badgers, the black and white stripy things, but they're protected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we have the controversy with the tuberculosis in cattle with them at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As far as we're concerned, 400,000 badgers is way too many for a small island.
Right. Yeah.
According to the it's all furry and huggable people, there's not enough.
Yeah, not to know. Well, there never is enough for them. They'll never be happy with it. Now,
but when
do
you've
y'all
got
have
farmers,
raccoons?
No, we don't have raccoons.
No raccoons. Okay.
There's a couple of raccoon dogs running around loose in the British Isles.
Yeah.
I'm not even too sure what one of them is. Apparently, it's a gift from you guys.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Probably, I believe they're prominent in Germany. I know a couple of buddies there that have talked about it several times over there in Germany. I don't think most people in the U.S. have never heard of a raccoon dog. A raccoon dog over here is a dog that hunts raccoons.
All right. And the only other thing we've got is definitely a gift from you guys, is the mink.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so now, is there a lot of trapping in the UK?
There's a bit. There's not as much as there should be, because, as you know, mink are crafty little buggers, and you've got to build a raft, and some water and everything else. And a lot of people are having their stuff destroyed, and of course it's on a rope so people can pull it in and destroy it and everything. But in the, I suppose, 40s, 50s and 60s, when mink farming was big, we had millions of these things that were going to be a mink fur coat and a scarf and the hand warmer thingies and everything else. Aunties opened all the cages. Oh, let's let them out. and they've
Yeah.
gone and decimated everything because we had water voles, which are like a rat but lives in the water and everything else. Do you know what Wind in the Willows is? The story?
Wind in the willow.
Yeah,
No.
it's a story about the river with Ratty, which is the water vole, and Toad of Toad Hall, who drives the car and thinks he's a bit of a lord. And it's a children's
Oh
story
yes,
from over
yes,
here.
yes, yes. I think I am familiar
Yeah.
with it. Yes,
Well,
yes.
Ratty is actually a water vole, and of course, when they let all the mink out, the population just disappeared.
They just decimated the vole.
Yeah,
They
they
preyed on them
decimated
too
it.
easy. Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course, mink can climb as well. So our dormouse and our harvest mouse all went as well, introduced by the Romans. So
Yeah.
yeah, I occasionally get the odd mink to tan. A lot of people like them tan.
Right. Right.
So I did that for a couple of people, smoked them and did them all naturally and stuff. But
Right.
a lot of people, it's too much hassles and inconvenience.
Yeah.
We got a lot of problems with snaring. A lot of people don't like snaring.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have free running snares. So there's an eyelet, but no stop. So if the
Okay.
animal wanted to, it could basically take the snare off and walk home.
So it doesn't lock into place.
No, it doesn't lock because out in America, you got the little like double L shaped
Right.
taggies in you, which locks it in.
Yeah.
We've got no foothold traps. So things like, I don't know if I can do it quickly. My old
Yeah.
trap up there, that's a gin trap. They've been illegal since 1960 something. We've got no
Okay.
soft leg hold traps like you guys use or anything like that these
Right.
days. So we're very
Conibear?
limited. Nope,
The
nothing like that.
conibear?
Nope,
No.
no spring
So
traps
pretty
whatsoever
much
like that.
box trap, live trap, or a
Yeah,
snare.
we can use a fen trap. Do you know what a fen trap is? Steel plate with two spring jaws for like catching
Uh.
vermin.
Okay.
2 seconds, let me call up one for you, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I've probably seen that. A lot of the gamekeepers use wrong one. There you go. Just
Okay. Yeah.
basically, we
Yes.
use it on squirrels, rats, and gamekeepers will use it on mink and stoats and stuff like that. Vermin.
Right. Right.
But that's all we're allowed to use. So
And
I
I
watch a lot
suppose
of tapping stuff.
not much of a fur market there for selling
There's
furs.
no fur market whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much here, especially down here in Texas, they just don't get the fur doesn't get thick enough. It just wouldn't sell anyway. They got a little bit up further north where the furs are still decent. There's still a little bit of a fur trade, but it's down south. It's just not worth enough. But and with the farms and everything, like you mentioned, the mink farms and stuff, they've just about farmed everything now, and the fur is so forbidden now that hardly any price, any demand for it anymore.
I tan deer hides for people on and off when I get 5 minutes, but I do it naturally. I use egg and oil as the tanning instead of brain, and then I smoke
Mm-hmm.
the hides. I mainly do like rugs for people and stuff like that if they've shot a nice buck or
Okay.
whatever.
So hair on,
Yeah,
tanning,
hair
hair
on.
on.
I tried doing a hair off bark tanned piece of leather, and you could use it as a body plate to stop a 1911 doing any damage to it. It went rock solid. I sort of squished it a bit and threw it in the box with the rest of the stuff and said, do what you want with it. It was my
Yeah,
first attempt at bark tanning, and never again. I'll stick with
yeah,
just
didn't
fur
work.
on.
Yeah, I
But there's
admire
no
what
real
people went
market
through
for it.
back in the day doing that. That's interesting. It's a lost art, really. And it was a necessity back 100 years ago.
Yeah. I watch people like Clay Hayes on YouTube, maybe that lives sufficiently and stuff. He does stuff like that, kills an elk and tans it and stuff, makes his own bows. And all the guys from Mountain Men and stuff I follow, and I'm friends
Yes,
with like
yes,
Paul and stuff, the Wolf Trapper.
right.
Because of course he used to do a bit for the diary as well when he got a chance.
Oh,
And
really? That's interesting.
yeah, but he got so strung up with social media, and of course, oh, you're killing wolves, and you know what that's like over your side of the pond at the moment.
Yeah, that's a
And
big
it's just,
no-no.
yeah. How many wolves do you reckon you guys have got over there?
Oh man, which I mean, and now this is well beyond me. We don't have any around here, really, so to speak. But Uh, I know for a fact they have exceeded, when they reintroduced them, they had a set population they wanted to hit, and they have probably 5 or 6 times exceeded that. I think they started with, I can't even remember what they introduced at first. It was like 40, 20 something or 40 something. It wasn't a lot. And I'm thinking it's like 4,000 now, if that's even accurate now. And it's, they've just reintroduced them into Yellowstone, and they're going to all stay right here, and then now they've gone everywhere. And it's, which now they have delisted the wolf, and there are states where you're allowed to hunt them now, and some cave to the pressure and filter back and forth. Yeah, they never, it seems like they never remove that protection once they put it on. It's, grizzly bear is another one. Grizzly bear has exceeded the number that they had set to be stable many times over. And as soon as they delist them, they go right back on. But yeah, it's they actually still have the government will still pay for wolf predation damage, livestock loss, and they're putting out money left and right for that. So but no, they just don't have a clue. The antis, they don't know. They don't care really. They don't care.
This is the problem. And I hear you guys might be able to hear better in a few months, hopefully.
That's a big one. It's proposed anyway. The Hearing Protection Act. Yeah, that'll be real interesting. That's always been a holdup for me. Now I have hearing protection that I wear, in-ear protection that amplifies and then hides the shot. So, and I've just been hesitant to. I think it's $200 and something you got to pay the government to apply for a stamp to get a moderator or a suppressor, what we call them in the States, and then the purchase of the moderator itself. You're looking at sometimes $1,200 to $1,500 to $1,600 a pop, and all to be safe, all to protect your hearing. It seems backwards, which, we get into the political side of it. A lot of it seems backwards, but yeah, I hope that passes. I'm looking forward to that. I might actually purchase one if they come off that tax stamp.
Have you ever fired anything fairly large with a moderator on it or not?
Yes. I have several of the friends. It's real trendy now in the States. They pretty much allow, I can't remember what it is exactly, 26, 30 of the 50 states allow hunting with suppressed rifles now. And so it become more popular, and many, many people have them around. So yeah, I got a couple of buddies that go hunting with that use the moderator, and in fact, they don't let me bring my rifles when we go hunt. It's like, you shoot that loud gun. No. But yeah, it's real nice. It's real nice.
I know you don't shoot a lot of deer, but we find it useful, especially soon, as you know, we're quite a small area.
Yeah.
Because it takes the sound and makes it sound like it's come from over there, or over there. You can
Right.
shoot 2 or 3 deer out of a herd if you're doing management control. And they'll
Right.
just stand there and go, well, there was a big noise, but I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
As soon as you take that can off the end, that sound is directed straight at them, and
Yes,
they'll
it's
all scatter.
much more. They can pin it down much more.
Yeah.
We had a similar situation. We get on a big bunch of hogs, a big group of hogs, a large sounder. I believe this particular time there's about 20 hogs in this group, and we put a decent stock on them. It was thermal hunting, and he had a moderator on there, and I think the shot finally, when we walked it down a little bit, was close to 200 yards. And I think he had an Ackley improved 243. So it was still a fairly good report, when it come out. But the tree line behind the hogs, we were in a large open field, they actually run from the sound that come off the tree line, and I believe the report of the bullet hitting the hog he shot, they run from that and actually ran towards us. They had no idea where the sound was coming from. So that's a big benefit from it. And then just, being able to just sit there and talk casually and shoot without damaging your ears. That's the no-brainer side about it. I really don't understand why. I suppose the old James Bond movies where they screw on the suppressor and do all the dastardly deeds or whatever. Yeah, there's a John Wick scene where they're walking in a train station or something. A lot of people all around, and they're just walking with their pistols right here. and nobody notices any, and which a pistol would be able to go subsonic, so it would be a lot quieter, but you're still not going to know that this guy right
No.
beside you is shooting a pistol, So I guess that's the whole theory of the ban, back in the gangster days when Al Capone run around with his, Tommy gun. I don't remember pictures of him having a suppressor on it or a moderator on it, but I don't know. It never made sense to me why it was so bad in the United States. I think Europe, you're just about required to have one.
Yeah.
It's considered proper, polite.
I follow, I don't know where they are. They're on Instagram and stuff. They're called Silencer Co. And they make all you
So,
guys
yeah,
silencers. And
yeah,
they've actually done, this is what it sounds like in a movie. And this is what
yeah,
it actually sounds like.
yeah.
It's not like that. That's Hollywood. And they've gone through all the
Right,
different weapons from P19, 1911, right up to the big stuff, and showed you what it's actually like and matched one of their silencers for it and everything else. And it's actually very interesting, but they only stick it on like Instagram and stuff. It's like 30, 40 seconds and that's it type thing. But it'd
right,
be nice if they
right.
made full on videos of it and explained it all properly, but they don't, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real interesting when you get into the subsonic and supersonic, ammunition and stuff. We was doing a little fun shoot one time, and the fellow had his Class 3 license, which allows him to own fully automatic weapons. And he had a 9mm Uzi, the old school Uzi, and you could put the subsonic ammo, which was usually the larger bullets that would slow them down a little bit so they wouldn't break the sound barrier outside of it. And then all you heard was the action slapping back and forth. Then you put the supersonic ammo in there, and then you would hear the crack outside the barrel, and so it was really enlightening to be able to understand and see right there how the difference was. And you load one with mix, and it was and just the slapping of the bolt action, and then the next one would give you a pow, a crack, which it was still a suppressed muffled sound, but it was interesting getting it kind of opened your eyes a little bit. But yeah, I assume that's the only reason why they've stuck with it so long, and it's money. They're not going to give
Yeah.
up on money very long. But I
On
hope
about
with the
your
changes we got going on, I hope that goes through.
On about your arcade laws, why is it some states don't allow thermal, some don't allow lamping, and all this? Where the heck did that come from?
Well, it's a very similar situation. We have actually in Pennsylvania, they don't allow you to hunt on Sunday. That makes no sense whatsoever. Go
That's the
all
best day
day.
of the week. There's nobody around.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. And they're coming around more and more. Most of the states are now allowing, more states are allowing thermal hunting, but it's just the unknown, the fear of the unknown. They don't know. Well, you can't see good at night. They've never looked through a thermal, but you can't tell what you're shooting. Most of the time you can, and you get a few accidents of people shooting, and it's not the thermal problem, but it's a shooter problem. They shoot a cow or something like that, and that news travels fast. Bad news always travels fast. So I think it's just the fear of the unknown. They don't know, what's involved with it, and they just, fear of unknown and change, I think. But hopefully with more prominent hunters representing the industry well and spreading the word that it is a beneficial tool. But like just Arkansas, just next door to me, I do a lot of predator hunting there, or did. I haven't in a while, but they wouldn't allow night hunting. Just wouldn't allow it at all. And they think, well, if they're going hunting at night, they're going to be spotlighting deer. No, that's illegal. We wouldn't do that. We have both made the law, and the law says we can't night hunt, so we don't night hunt now. The law says we can't shoot deer at night, so we wouldn't shoot deer at night. We obey the law, so that doesn't, and that's a lot of it. They think, oh, people are going to be shooting deer left and right, spotlighting deer. Well, no, that's
I've
still
seen that show
illegal.
with that robot deer.
Yeah. That's, and it happens, it happens, and that's your typical redneck story, a bunch of deer hunters at night. But I think that's the fear of it. From night hunting to just restrictions in general. Like in Texas, we can hunt coyotes 24/7, 365 days a year. We have no season. Where you go up further north, and I think it's more towards it's geared to let them have their pups and their nursing and denning season. But it's more geared towards the prime fur. So you're not going to save your the summer fur once they start losing that winter pelt, that it's not as valuable. So you want it to be a colder temp, so it gets better value of the fur. I think that's where it's more designed to. But you have cities or states down further south that don't allow year-round hunting as well. Arkansas is one of them. They have a closed season during the summertime, and you're not getting a decent pelt from any time of year there. It doesn't necessarily. I think that's the original season on fur bearers, but I don't know why they still do that. But again, fear of change, I guess. But we're trying to get them to come around.
Now, I didn't realize I was watching the game warden program about Texas. You got a big area of sea and lakes there. I always thought like Texas was this barren, dry stuff like you see in the cowboy movies. And they're like, oh, we're patrolling the oceans there. I'm like, what ocean?
Yeah, it's well, in fact, kind of a bit of a controversy. It used to be the Gulf of Mexico. Now it's the Gulf of America. But yeah, they have Texas has everything, man. We've got deserts, we got mountains, we've got beaches, we've got forest. We've got it all, man. Plains, we got rocky area and acidic soil. We got desert, and we got it all, man. I got the episodes where they do patrol on the Texas Game Warden deal, where they do patrol out in the water and checking shrimpers and all that stuff. It's real interesting. That's a different world. Now we're not. I wouldn't rank our ocean up with any other ocean around. It's kind of a mud puddle a little bit. It's dingy water and stuff, and we usually have high level. They have alerts of high level of contaminants, where you're not recommended to swim and stuff. It's not a now further south around Padre Island and stuff like that, it gets a little bit more Caribbean-like and stuff. Yeah, most of it up on the coast is Texas coast, up closer to Louisiana and stuff, is not a great destination. I mean, it's what we got. We enjoy it, but yeah. And they got a few alligators. We actually have alligator seasons now too, the last few years, so that'd be interesting.
Yeah, 24223.
Or 44 mag. That's I don't play around with water lizards. Those things are a bit much. That's but they yeah, exactly. A flamethrower or grenades or something. That's I don't know. That's in which I don't think ours are that big, but I'm sure was Swamp People very popular in the UK. You familiar with that? Troy Landry.
I think it was. But nobody could understand. Nobody could understand a word they were saying.
He's talking my language, so I understood him. But yeah, that was a different. And they were using, which I were up close and personal with them, but they were using 22s, 22 long rifles. So it's that little spot in the back of the eyes right there where they could hit them a little bit easier. But yeah, I don't know. I would want to be away from them and shoot them from a long way off. I don't. Yeah, Steve Irwin was a beast. I'll credit him with all that. He can keep the water lizards. I'm not a fan.
Now, I know like Florida and stuff has problem with not rattlesnakes, pythons and iguanas and stuff. Is anything moving up through your direction?
Not really. I don't think the environment's too friendly for it's more of a tropical type environment in Florida, much more tropical climate. I think we get a little bit too dry. Now, I have a good friend who keeps snakes and stuff, where it's beyond my knowledge why anybody would do that, but he keeps a few snakes and everything. So in a controlled environment, you have a few, but they just, in Florida, what's happened there is people have released them and let them go or whatever, can't keep up with them, and they get out into the environment and are prolific in that environment and able to breed and take over. And I don't think if any got out here, I don't think they would be able to survive as well, and they'd probably get eaten by our rattlesnakes.
Now, growing up, Mum's favourite show was Dallas, which was on a Friday night, Larry Hagman and all that lot. And of course, you had the music and the fast cars and the helicopter go through and a shot of Dallas and then the South Fork Ranch. I know it'd be like horses and some oil pumps. Is all of Texas like that? I know you just said we've got diverse countryside, but what is Texas like? You're a Texan. Tell me about Texas.
Well, it's it literally has everything. We have open prairies. We have, there's places where it would look like Australia, in cactus and just, or New Mexico or even Mexico. There's places where in my area, it's a lush environment. We got forest, pine forest, and kind of the region I live in is called the Piney Woods. and it's we have pine trees everywhere, which are wonderful with your allergies, by the way. But it's drastic. Far over in the Panhandle, close to El Paso and stuff, it's desert and sand, and in West Texas around Midland and stuff. A tall mesquite tree is 6 foot tall, and if you have a tree higher than that, it's on an irrigated lot of land by a house. So it's drastically different from one region to the next. And up in closer to the north part of the Panhandle, you have canyons. The second largest canyon in the country is up there in the Panhandle, Palo Duro Canyon, and it's just flat area and then this deep gorge in the ground, but it's all sand. I mean, there's no vegetation hardly at all, and it's jackrabbits and different stuff like that. And then over here we've got just lush environment. So it's a bit of everything. There's cattle everywhere, but other than that, it varies drastically.
Ideal. So, does everyone have like pancakes and bacon and briskets and all that, or is that just like a TV misnomer? Or
With the pistol sitting next to the plate in the morning, yes, that's. You go out to. I mean, you go out to. I lived in the Metroplex, DFW Metroplex, Dallas and Fort Worth combined together is called the DFW Metroplex. I lived out there for about a little over a decade, about 12 years, and spent the whole time trying to get back here. But it's very urban, very city, concrete everywhere, and it's you'll get folks there with their bagels or what have you, or raw salmon on their toast or whatever. It's both the environment and the people vary drastically from Houston to Dallas to a little bitty Northeast Texas here. It varies. We've got idiots everywhere though.
I think we've got an eclectic over on this bloody island.
Yeah, it's turned into a competition, I believe.
Up there. Well, we seem to have an influx of the fluffy bunny brigade, as we call them.
Yeah, they're everywhere as well. We had with the social media, I kind of me and the fellows that I was talking about that shoot the suppressors and thermals, we had a little bit of a YouTube channel for a while where we videoed our hunts and stuff, and I'd share information and just it was called Predator X. We did that for a while, and it's social media changes and the life getting in the way kind of stopped it. But when that was running strong, post a picture of a successful coyote hunt, and the bunny huggers would come out and threaten to rape and kill my daughters because I shot a coyote. It just the logic. It's just too much hair dye, I believe. That's just it ruined their thought process. It's amazing how ignorant they can be, and just they want to coexist, but they don't understand what overpopulation even does. And like you mentioned with the mink, they saved the mink. Most of those mink don't know how to operate on their own. They don't know how to hunt on their own. They're not going to live. They're not going to survive. They're going to breed like crazy. They're going to overtake everything. And ones that do learn how to, are going to decimate everything else. So they're going to save the mink and kill 4 or 5 other species, eliminate them. They just don't, and they don't put no logic in it. And that's the thing. They just don't think at all. And, I think there's a few of them. I would try when I would get somebody inquire, like send message to the page. And why do you exactly hunt coyotes? I would return with the same politeness and try to explain them and educate them on why we were doing what we were doing. And most of them, okay, thanks. I appreciate that. But if they come in with, I hope one day a coyote eats your baby or something like that, they're pretty much a lost cause. I just block them and move on. But it's that's their it's becoming so common now. It's their care, their passion. It just whatever it is. I care. It's a just their note they're sending out to pretend so much that they care. Yet they sit back and they're vegan. They don't want anything. They sit back in their leather chair with their leather belt and their leather shoes, like they didn't come from a cow. And it's oh, I eat a hamburger. Yeah, that's cool. But they just I don't know. It's uneducated, really, but it is what it is.
It makes me laugh with all these just stop oil protesters we've got. These idiots in orange over here at the moment, gluing themselves to the road. What's the glue made from, Jeff?
What's the what now?
The glue made from?
Oh yeah.
Plastic.
Yeah, the glue. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that could be a whole podcast there. We could get real deep down that rabbit hole. I don't know. It's a bit of a, I think, a cry for, trying to, claim that they're wanting to do something. And I really think it boils down to, most people don't have any problems, so they create their own. In today's world, we're not, 150 years ago, you're trying to figure out where you get your next meal and trying to take care of things. And nowadays, pretty much everything's handed to you. And we complain if it gets over 70 degrees in the house. And it's just, life is so good, we don't struggle. It goes kind of that saying, hard times create hard men create good times create soft men. We're fairly soft these days. So I think that explains a lot of it. Just, they don't have problems, so they want to create, they're living a good life at home. Husband's providing for them, and I'm labeling women here. I'll probably get hate for that. But, a lot of it is the female that has nothing else to do. The kids are grown and going out of the house, and they're looking for drama, and it's, I don't know. It's, we better get back on track before I get people hating me. All
Right
those
now,
Texans.
you know what this is.
Oh yeah, that's is that the double reed? Yeah, that's got the double reed one. I can't remember the name on
Now,
that one. I love that one.
yeah, lovely sound, and it's just raspy enough to be one of our cottontail rabbits, as we got over here.
Yeah,
Now, I know a lot of American guys use a diaphragm call, but hardly anybody over
yeah.
here knows what the heck that is. Have you got one handy or not?
I don't on me, and it'd take too long for me to go get one. I might be able to. Let me see here, but you know, back in the day hunting time, pulling that call up to hold it to your mouth, that was so much movement that attracted so much attention. So the diaphragm call, I'd keep one in my mouth at all times and keep it in the fridge so they don't get dried out. I'd keep it in my mouth, and so when I wanted to call, I just put it over my tongue, and I had virtually no movement whatsoever. And in my opinion, I can get much more realistic sound off the diaphragm call, and that was a part of what really got my relationship with Reese Outdoors going. But it's just a little mouthpiece like that. It's got a elastic in the middle with a hard tape on the outside. What is this? This is the raspy distress call. I'm trying to do it quiet so it's not too loud.
Just blow it, it's fine.
Let me try that other one. That's my, yeah. But you can get it. And real easy to tuck in the side of the mouth. Not real good for talking and communicating with them in the mouth, but I personally, there's another guy here locally. They in competitions and stuff. Man, they can get such a realistic coyote howl or pup whine, and that's one of the things I enjoy with it. I can just, if I do make a shot, I can throw that over. There's a lot of times I won't even carry electric call out with me. It's just so much more convenient, less to carry, and I can push that diaphragm over. Typically in the left, I keep a coyote vocal diaphragm, and in the right, the distressed one. So I'll flip over to that coyote vocal immediately after a shot, go with a coyote, act like a hurt pup, and a lot of times that'll stop another coyote or bring it in. But it's just so convenient, not to have to grab. I still carry my hand calls, but not to grab a call and move up to here, and then which I keep them on a tether so I can just drop them if something comes up. But from having to do that, which I, hunt with a light, I've got a light scanning up here and a gun over here, and having a free hand for a call is just something else. So, man, it was just too convenient for me. I love the diaphragm call. Once I got introduced to that, that's all I went with.
So is the curve in the back of your mouth or at the front of your mouth?
The elastic rubber, the curve goes towards the back.
All right.
So it actually goes on the tongue. And you actually push it towards the roof of your mouth and the elastic is what's making the bouncing off
Oh,
each other that's making the rattle sound. And you can get that was one of the fun things about it with Lauren Reese. We were experimenting with the different tension on the elastic on the rubber, and the less tension it would get a more raspy sound. So you'd play with it forever. I mean, hundreds of them I'd try, and just, man, you could do everything. Had wolf sounds, a good wolf howler, a high pitched coyote sound, or typically a female coyote or a young coyote is going to have a higher pitched sound. So you'd kind of, in the breeding season, you'd kind of act like that female, or it gets real in depth. And each little diaphragm you could tune, or is tuned. You couldn't tune them, but when they were made, they would change the tension on that elastic, change the sound produced. And man, it's endless the sounds you can make for it. But with the two diaphragms in my mouth, really, you get a real good one that's well tuned. The one I do a lot of howling with, I could actually do most distress sounds. I can get real, like a cottontail baby with just a shrill little squeak, or even some bird sounds, and all the way up to howls. You can do everything with one call. It's very versatile on what it can do. But once you start trying to get into the howls or coyote vocalizations and stuff, more tuned towards that works better. But you can get one that does it all. So it's just really versatile and handy. Man, I love them.
it also eliminates all this.
Yes, yes. Now I have come across a couple. I've seen a proper whistle on there, the folded material.
Yep, I got
actually
two on here.
I had a couple of friends send me some of those from UK and Australia. That was pretty nice.
I don't know if I've got enough spit down.
Yeah.
And then the other one, these are 3D plastic, and they're molded, and then they just bend them
Right.
over.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. There's a certain. It took me forever to try to get that angle just right, and then most of the time, all the hot air I blow out, I was blowing too hard.
And this one's all tangled, but they also make this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Like a little bird
That's
chirper.
killed a lot of fox.
The
That's
thing
cool.
is, I know yourself, you're calling over a distance, but most of the places, my biggest shoot is just under 100 acres. So I
Right.
don't have to shout to the other end. I'm only shouting 2 fields away, 3 fields away, because I know there's going to be a fox in that den somewhere or in that thicket. And so I don't have to have all the volume of the call going.
Exactly. Yeah.
I got an electronic.
I think that's what the electronic craze that came in. I think that's what ruined a lot of people. They think it'll go to 40 volume. I need to go to 40 volume, and they're blasting everything out. And I 100% agree with you.
I've got a tripod, and on the top is a metal tool stand, just like a U-shaped piece. Looks a bit like a gutter holder. And I've got a
Right.
Bluetooth speaker, a tube one, about a foot long. And I pop it on there, and I pop it out about 70, 80 yards away, no more. And I play most things at about half volume, because we forget we're humans. We're, as a species,
Yeah.
we're useless. A fox will
Yeah.
come in. I had one. He actually ran past the call, spooked, come back, hit the call, and then stopped, going, "What the hell did I just hit?" And I've got this all on camera, and tush, that was the end of it, But
Yeah.
there's no need for all the volume, We hear people blowing and calling, and
Screaming extremely loud. And
yeah,
I always, and now, depending on the property, I will work my way up to really loud if I'm set up one. There are a lot of your smaller properties, I'm going to get one set in it, and I'm going to drive to another property. So I will start, assuming that I snuck in on a coyote that's bedded down out here that's nearby. I'll start low and I work my way up. If you start at full blast, you can't. There's nothing else you can do. If they are nearby, you're going to blast them out. They're going to think, "Oh my, there's a 50-foot cottontail over there. I'm leaving." So I'll always start low and work my way up as you go. And then at the end, I might try to reach out with my volume and still mostly doing with the diaphragm. I can get pretty loud. Sometimes I've got a horn, a cattle horn that's hollowed out that acts like a megaphone, and I can howl with that too. I keep that in the bag. So I'll try and reach out at the end and maybe get coyotes on neighboring property or any predator. I'm going out calling fox, coyote, bobcat, whatever comes in, or cougar. I'd love to do that. So there towards the end of the set, I'll reach out further and then really start talking. Unless, if it's a 1,000-acre property, which in this part of town, that's another, talking about the regions, we're pieced up and parceled up. We have very rarely, you get a 1,000-acre place around me, and that's a big place. Most of the time it's 200 or 300 acres. And so if I'm on a small place and I'm doing one set, that, I'll wrap it up that way. If I'm on a large place and I might be able to do 2 or 3 stands on it, I'll keep it quiet. I don't want to call that one in from over there. We might get into territorial issues. That pack over there might not hunt this side of it. That might be this pack. So if I can make several stands, I'll keep it to a fairly lower volume so I can just reach the local coyotes, I guess.
That cow horn, is that one of them Texas long ones?
I'd have to get another backpack for that. Yeah, the longhorn. That's a cattle version of the goat. They'll eat anything, which that's what made them popular back into the desert areas and stuff. They'll eat anything, but they don't get that big. And I say that big, 600, 700, 800 pounds. I'm sure some of them get a little bit bigger than that, but they're smaller than your Brangus and your Angus and stuff like that. They'll eat everything. And of course, then you got those big horns when they come into feeding that they'll run into stuff, tear you up, and you can't get them through the chutes. They're pretty. But that's it. Most people won't mess with them anymore, but they're beautiful animals.
Oh, yes. Right. And I think on that note, we shall thank you very much, Jeff. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, absolutely, man. I enjoyed it. Look forward to keeping up with your next episodes.
Oh, yes. And do yourself a favor. Buy yourself a hat.
I don't wear it quite as good as you, man. What size is that anyway? By the way, that's a big hat.
That's it. It's not. It's a 4.5-inch crown with a 5-inch brim. That's all.
I think I could use that as a bathtub.
Well, if you think that's big, my bush hat.
Yeah, that's proper. I like that. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. That's about all I get right there. I'll get a boonie cap or something like that for the sun, mowing the yard, stuff like that. That's about as far as I go.
Well, this is a company called Rogue, made in South Africa.
Okay.
And the story goes, matey was in the Land Rover, that blew off, the Land Rover behind it, ran it over and it was knackered. So he said to his mate who did saddlery and leather work, I want a hat that I can run over, pick it up, dust it off and put it back on my head and it'll be fine. So they invented this. That's
how that was born, huh? Oh, okay.
And then this very tough, it's like a canvas.
Right.
But you literally
crush it and pops back.
Squish it, squash it.
Yeah.
Pop it. That goes back on your head as same as it was.
Imagine that mesh allows good airflow too, so you don't sweat as much.
It's good during the summer. It keeps the flies off your head, but loads of airflow. As this thing, as soon as it gets to about 15 Celsius, you start warming up in this.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you get the pretty sweat stains.
Yeah. And the only problem with this, when it rains, the dye runs. So if you tip your head forward, you can actually watch the dye coming out the brim.
Yeah, not good. Get the mascara running.
That's what it looks like.
Awesome.
And an education. And thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Greg. It was a pleasure.
I do. Cheers, Jeff.
Cheers.